Most people think that the luxury market in Sudbury is slow because there are no buyers, but the data tells us a completely different story.
Absolutely. The luxury houses that are actually selling right now are selling because they all have. Welcome to the TNT Real Estate Podcast, where we spark conversations that set you up for real estate success. I'm Tyler.
And I'm Tanya, and each week we bring you expert tips on navigating Northern Ontario's real estate market. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, we've got the tools to help you thrive. Welcome back to the TNT Real Estate Podcast. I'm Tanya, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Tyler. Tyler, how are you today?
Good. Sun is shining. It's been shining for like 2 days straight.
Oh, so nice.
And it feels good. Feels good. Feels
Awesome.
good. We're spring has sprung.
What have you been up to?
Springing, showing houses, selling houses.
I know we've been like ships passing the night in the office. I don't feel like I see you much. So this is kind of like our time to, reconnect, say like, what's going on in life?
Yeah. It's been wild. Like the spring market is different this year. Definitely. You should watch other podcasts when we talk about that. But yeah, it's been not normal. Things are selling that I'm surprised at. Things that should be selling are not selling. And yeah, it's just been one of those years. It's just like nothing is normal.
A lot of competition, but also a lot of opportunity.
Right, yeah.
So we're seeing some of those properties sell lower than what we would have anticipated. And some just going bananas.
Yeah, totally.
Yep.
What are we
Back
talking
to the
about?
spring market.
What are we talking about today?
So today we are actually going to be talking about the luxury market in Sudbury. So one of those things that not everybody knows how quickly properties sell or who's buying them. So it's important to look at the data. So we're really going to be focusing on homes for sale that are $1 million plus. So not multifamily in this case, but just luxury homes. Some of the assumptions that people are making are right, but some of course are completely wrong. So we're here with the data to try to debunk it.
And I think what kind of surprised me when we did deep dive into the data was that, if somebody came up to us on the street and said, how's the luxury market doing? Our answer would have to be like, it really depends because different segments, different areas, different landscapes of the luxury market are all behaving differently right now. Yeah,
it's so nuanced and it's really interesting to see. I think right now we're looking at within the last 6 months, there were 80 luxury properties on the market, and only of which I think there were 30 that had sold over $1 million in the last 6 months. Yeah. So it's quite interesting.
Yeah. So let's start off by defining what luxury in Sudbury actually is. I would say, so $1 million is interesting to me because, I would say 5 years ago, I'd be like, the luxury starts at $750,000. Yeah. And I'm like, you can buy a really luxurious house for $750,000. Obviously that bumped up. And before we were doing this podcast, I'm like, would 900 be luxury? And I don't think it is anymore.
I think that's just like a basic new construction 4-bedroom home.
I mean, you can get a really nice house for 900.
But it's in a subdivision.
But it could be in a subdivision. And so I think the $1 million is actually luxury right now in Sudbury. Yeah.
And it's different in all the different markets, right? You think $1 million in Toronto, probably, I don't even know what it gets you. Yeah. Maybe a lot, maybe like
condo.
a little bungalow or something, probably an attached house. But in Sudbury, you get a lot for your money in terms of $1 million. Yeah. So we're looking at a lot of properties are waterfront. So Ramsey Lake, Long Lake, Nepean, Frenchman, and Wanapate have been very, very active lakes lately. People looking a little bit more in the outskirts and enjoying that sort of lifestyle of living on the lake and out a little bit of the city. Yep. And then we've seen a few Manitoulin homes also represented in that $1 million plus. Yep. And
I would say on top of the like waterfront areas, if you're trying to get $1 million or over and not on the water, you have acreage. You have at least like 70, 80 acres, or I mean, it could be like 10 acres, but an extremely nice house. But you need to have something different. It's not, I mean, there are subdivision houses that sell, like there are a couple of new builds that are going over $1 million now as well, but those are monstrosities and, very, very nicely upgraded.
Right. So out of the 80 luxury listings that were on the market in the last 6 months, 30 of them actually sold. So that's 37.5%. selling. So less than 4 in 10 properties are actually selling.
Right.
So and then we'll take it down, we'll break it down in terms of price point, because that's where things get a little bit more interesting.
Yeah. So between 1 million and 1.5, it actually makes up 24 out of, so 24 houses have sold out of the 49 listings in that. And it's actually 50% of the 50% absorption rate. So if you list a house between $1 million, $1.5 million, there's a 50-50 chance that you're going to sell or not, which is interesting. If you bump that up to 1.5 to $2 million, only three out of 14 have sold. So 21% absorption rate. And then if you go over 2 million to 3 million, you're 3 out of 10, so a 30% absorption rate, which is, I mean, it's kind of interesting how it's, I would have thought as you went higher, it would be, smaller and smaller absorption rate. But I mean, I guess if
it's a small data set though, that 2 to 3 million is quite a small data set. And we've seen, even just recently, I find the last few weeks, we've seen quite a few sell over the $2 million mark that we've been sort of surprised.
Quickly too.
And selling quickly. Yeah, that's another thing. Days on market is also kind of interesting, because if we go back to that $1.5 to $2 million range, you're looking at an average of 106 days on market. But then as soon as you go the 2 million over, the average is more like 132.
Right.
But of course that's skewed, right? If there's only 3, one's going to be 200 days and the other's going to be 5 perhaps.
Days,
yeah. And then the 3 million plus, we haven't seen any sales in the last 6 months. And the average days on market there is 240.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a tough market for sure. Like you've seen that the houses that are over 3 million that are on the market, they take a while. They take a while to sell, which I mean, it's fair. It's a big price point. And it's an
exclusive buyer, I guess.
Right.
And some of these homes have interesting kind of quirky features perhaps, and they may not be for everybody. So we had 6 of them in the last 6 months. Yeah. Over 3 million.
I mean, I'm going to add a caveat to that, because I feel like a lot of like the ultra luxury, I'm going to say ultra luxury over $3 million, like they also, like a couple of them do sell off market. Like they're exclusively, friends or whatever that kind of trade houses. So they do sell, some of them sell, and obviously not a lot. Like there's probably under 5 in the last year that have sold. But the ones that are on the market are obviously not moving.
Yeah. The most expensive one that we have on the market right now is $5.699 million. And it says 89 days on market, but I think that might be just because it was relisted recently.
Right.
Average, there's a lot of properties in that 3 million plus that were 450, 432 days on market. Yep. So those definitely tend to be listed for longer.
Right.
Yeah. Not a criticism of the properties, but really just showing that when you're looking for something very particular and in a high price range, you're looking for something spectacular that fits all the boxes, right?
Right.
Or you're going to build it yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, so obviously higher days on market for those properties. I mean, anything over $1 million, you expect to have a higher days on market, but definitely the ranges that we were talking about, like they are moving, especially like the $1 million to, let's say, $1.5 million. They're moving if they're priced correctly, or if they have, what the buyers are.
Interesting features, right? I think that's one of the things. So one of the things, our next segment is talking about the sort of nuances and the interesting facts about what is actually selling. So maybe a little bit counterintuitive,
right?
But we're seeing that waterfront isn't a guaranteed sell.
Right. It's interesting. So like you think, Sudbury is known to have 330 lakes. Everybody wants to be on the lake. I mean, there are a lot of people on lakes, whether it's camp cottage or their homes. But yeah, what we're seeing in the market right now is that the houses that are over $1 million, that are luxury houses, the majority of the ones that are actually selling are not on water. I mean, there are a certain amount that are on water, but the majority of them are
actually not on water.
Yeah, people want off water.
Yeah. So the waterfront absorption rate is 33%. So that's 16 out of 49 of the waterfront listings sold. The non-waterfront absorption rate is 45%. Right. So almost half of non-waterfront listings sold, 14 out of 31.
Yeah.
So that's quite interesting. It's actually outperforming in the data set. And 5 out of the 6 were over asking sales. They
Right.
were non-waterfront properties.
Yeah.
So people looking probably for space or unique features.
Space, privacy, something that you don't necessarily get on the water. Like if you're going to Ramsey, you have very little privacy because like there's so many houses side by side and your neighbors have the same backyard as you. So it's, I mean, I understand why somebody wouldn't like that. It's just like, I guess, overcrowded maybe on the water.
I think people are looking for space too, right? Like it's lovely to be on the water, but if you can like wave hello to your neighbors, like barbecuing or whatever, you lose that privacy. Your taxes are quite high. I mean, your taxes are high in that luxury anyway, but you're paying a premium for waterfront.
Yeah.
So maybe people like to be a little bit more private. So we're definitely seeing a lot more acreage properties like you're mentioning and properties with massive garages.
Yeah.
Massive garages tend to be a big feature.
Oh my God, you got to store all the toys.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there's been a couple recently that have either been listed or have sold in the last like even week or two that are just gorgeous. And they sit on like 10 plus acres and you know, the construction is really different. It's not just like obviously your cookie cutter house in the middle of nowhere. It seems like they're actually like hiring designers or they have that eye for themselves. And you know, they're really incredible properties.
Yeah. Some of them, we're looking at the waterfront ones, had over 700 feet of frontage on various lakes. So that's always nice. Geothermal heating's another sort of selling feature.
Yep.
And we're seeing some, of course, with like airplane hangars and that type of thing. So that's always a good feature.
Yep.
So the waterfront homes tend to sell quite well, but definitely there's people looking for more space, it seems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, like, depending on what lake you're on, you could find that space as well. I was kind of more talking about like the in-town ones. Like I'm thinking like Nepawan, Ramsey, like they're just crowded with houses. But yeah, once you get out of the like Frenchman Lake, Wanapate, there's obviously a little bit more space, a little bit more privacy. So I feel like those ones, like we're going to talk about in a little bit, those ones are moving quite well.
Okay, so let's talk about the properties that are actually selling and selling relatively quickly.
Right.
The ones that sold fast and sometimes they've even been going over asking. Right. So what did those buyers respond to?
So all of the houses that we've seen that are actually moving quickly or selling over asking, they have something that is super unique that no other house has. Well, I shouldn't say no other house, but a lot of houses don't have. So whether it's a golf simulator, whether it's a saltwater pool, whether it is a beautiful wine cellar, like something that is just like a little bit different than your typical house. Those are the ones that are actually moving. So it's not just something that's cool. It's something that is almost irreplaceable.
Yeah. So if you're going to be building a luxury home, I think the advice here is do something unique.
Right.
Put in that luxury item that's going to make people want to buy it. Personally, if you're going to build me a luxury home, I'd say you should build a Scandinavian spa for me.
Little red light room.
Whole sauna situation, you know, we could get a sauna, a
Cold
steam
plunge.
room. Yeah, everything.
There you go.
That would be amazing.
I'm down.
And a wine cellar. Wouldn't that be nice? A wine cellar. We did see 2 properties on the same South End street, actually. Interesting. One sold in 7 days over asking and one in 2 days at the asking price. Both were modern builds, built in 2018 or newer. Both had pools, high-end finishes, and they were under $1.2 million. So to see those 2 quickly sell shows us that there's a lot of buyers actually looking in that price range, that there's probably competition. There's probably still a few more people looking for that 1.2 million or less home.
And I mean, for the rural-ish properties, we're seeing that, you know, like you were saying, the big workshops, newer-ish construction, and just like, you know, more of like the lifestyle. So they have like the pools and the hot tubs and like the outdoor kitchen area with the beautiful gazebo. Those ones are all selling fairly quickly. And like most of them are under 10 days on the market, which is, you know, there's buyers out there that are looking for those. They're just waiting for the right property to come up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So if someone is listening and they're thinking about selling their home, let's say it's probably about $1.5 million or above.
Right.
What does the data actually tell us for this seller to give them the right advice? What should they hear?
Okay, so when we looked at the data for this podcast, it's one thing that we actually pulled out that was very interesting is that the average year build for the houses that actually sell is 2006. And if you just back that up by like 7 years, the average, all the houses that are sitting on the market right now, the average year built is 1999. And so when these buyers, they want, when you're spending a lot of money on a house, they want newish, they want updated. And the ones that are older that are selling have those upgrades. They're not, 3,000 square feet of unfinished and you have to do a $200,000 renovation to it. They are the ones that, have been kept up with.
Or modernized. I think that's a really important distinction to make. People are looking for something that has a modern layout and modern mechanicals too, right? If you're buying something that has an effective age of 2006 or 2010, you've got a newer roof, newer mechanicals, more modern systems for heating, cooling. When you buy something that's maybe 1950s and redone without having that effective age raised with newer mechanicals, it's just going to be something that's a little bit daunting and easy for a home buyer to just bypass and go for the newer one.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what we say to those sellers would be, the houses that are sitting on the market right now are the ones that have entered the market at a price point that the buyers aren't willing to go. And we see them, it's not uncommon for a luxury house to sit on the market for a year with a couple different price drops. So it's very important to, just like we say with really any segment, pricing is the main driver of these sales right now. And obviously there's different, the differentiators, the little unique ads, waterfront or acreage properties, but doesn't matter where you are. If your price is off, you're going to sit on the market. Yeah.
And I think if you're a luxury seller, you're selling in that $1.5 million range, hopefully you have the ability to do maybe a couple upgrades, listen to your agent. Perhaps if there's an addition that could be done to make it more modern, maybe it's a pool or maybe it's more landscaping, sort of an outdoor lifestyle, take that recommendation if you can, just to make it a little bit more unique so that someone will intrigued and want to buy it.
Yeah. And I feel like even we always tell, even if you're at a $500,000 price point, you need to have a little bit of curb appeal, paint the walls that are all nicked up. And, I feel like it's okay in the luxury market to spend even a little bit more money. If you have, a dirt backyard and it's if you spend, $50,000 on an irrigation system and your grass is pristine and you can see the little lines all the way through it when you cut the grass, those are the things that people are looking for.
Yeah.
And I mean, even if you hire it out, obviously, if you have 5 acres,
if you got that kind of money, hopefully you're hiring someone to do your lawn.
It's not like you're doing it yourself, but I mean, those are the interesting little features that people want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's flip to the luxury buyer side for a minute, because I think there's a real opportunity here for people who are looking in that $1.5 to $2 million range. Right. So we're looking at a price range where only 21% of those listings have sold. And sellers know it. And the buyers should be aware of that, so that they can leverage it for their benefit and maybe get a property significantly below the asking price and negotiate in their best interest. Yeah,
I think it's interesting. I have this conversation once in a while, and I think it's an interesting way to look at it is as you go higher up the price scale, it actually is way more beneficial to buy a house like that. So the way I explain it is if you take 2 new Sudbury bungalows, both at $500,000, you mash them together into a house, you mash the land together. Would you prefer that, or would you rather spend $1 million on a luxury property? And the answer to me is always
the luxury.
Yeah, you get way more. You get way better features. You have way more land than 2, let's say 100 by 200 or, So I feel like if you can spend at that range, obviously it depends on all sorts of things, but I feel like they're kind of on sale right now.
Yeah. On sale. Oh,
on sale.
good. And $2 million plus we know is sitting a little bit longer. So definitely there's some motivated sellers there. And then above 3 million,
Right.
if you're in that price range, you're sitting pretty.
Call us.
Yeah, call us. We'll help you. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you have time to be thoughtful. You have time to do your due diligence, to look at properties and to find the one that is perfect for you.
Yeah. So I think it's very interesting. And I feel like, so over like, if you're in like the $2 to $3 million range, would you almost prefer to build, which I feel like a couple people are doing? You could get whatever you want. Well, maybe not whatever you want, but you have a say. You have a full say. So especially in Sudbury, you can build an extremely nice house for that amount.
Yeah, if you can find a good lot,
Right.
maybe a good lot on a lake or a good lot with acreage in an area that you like, you could absolutely build an amazing property for that price point.
So I think that might be the hesitation in that upper range too. For $1 million, it's almost like, is it worth the headache to have to do that? But yeah, once you get up to the top, you can kind of tell.
Once you're up to $2 to $3 million, why not?
Yeah,
you can build something really amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's interesting. But yeah, for the buyers out there, there is, I think like it's not like overpriced up there in those higher ranges. You get a lot of house, you get a lot of cool features, and you have the luxury of time and negotiation as well. So
yeah. Okay, so let's move on to our rapid fire section.
Let's do it.
This is my favorite part.
All right, me first. My home is unique. There's nothing to compare to it, Tanya.
Ooh, everybody thinks their home is unique, but we have to find that right buyer who's willing to pay that price for these unique features. Okay. We just need the right buyer to come along.
Yes, everybody else has as well. You've been waiting for 200 days. It's time to change the price.
Oh. Well said.
We put $400,000 into renovations, and that has to be reflected in the price. We're not going to take a loss here.
Your $400,000 is something you've enjoyed. It might not be relevant to the next person.
Right. So that 40-foot pool that you installed, maybe the next people don't want to swim.
Maybe they don't know how to.
So you should go for a hot tub so they could just remove it.
Yeah. Okay, how about interest rates are keeping buyers out of the market?
Yes and no. I feel like once you get into the luxury market, the amount of money that you have to put down on these properties.
Nobody's getting hurt by mortgages.
Right. Yeah.
If you're not buying in the luxury market.
Right. Or maybe you shouldn't be. But yeah, the amount of money that you have to put down, and the monthly is not that crazy when you're up there.
Yeah.
You know what? We're just going to wait until spring when the market picks up.
I don't know. I don't know how to answer that one. We're going to wait till spring. You and everybody else is going to wait till spring.
Right. And I was going to say, like, my answer to that would be that, and I learned this from my mentor back in the day, and just listening to him talk to his rich clients is, when a house comes up in spring, you're not going to have it until the middle of summer. But if you're on acreage and you want to do some stuff to the property, if you're on the waterfront, you want to enjoy it for the full summer as soon as you get to the house. So spring is almost too late for luxury. You need to be a little bit before so somebody could snatch it, move in before the summer, and be able to enjoy what they have.
Summer. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do one more.
One more.
It'll sell, Tanya. It's waterfront.
Not all waterfront sells. It'll sell at the right price.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Price is the most important for sure.
Okay. How about someone will pay for the view? Oh, someone will pay for this view. All the trees.
That's interesting because I'm a view person, so I would probably pay for the right view. Like when we talk, like in our next house that we're kind of considering, we're like, I want a sunset. I want to be able to see the sunset. So I mean, like somebody will pay for the view, but to quantify that into a price and up the price because it has a beautiful view is not a good way.
What you want for the view, right?
Yeah.
I think every luxury seller thinks that their home is the exception. Right. It's unique, that it's going to be the one that sells rather quickly, but they need to be prepared to the fact that it's going to take probably 6 months or longer for the house to sell, no matter what, no matter how gorgeous or exceptional it is.
Yeah. Yeah, the properties that are winning right now are winning because they're priced aggressively, and they also have that differentiating factor.
Absolutely. Okay. So if you're thinking about buying or selling a luxury property in the Greater Sudbury region and Manitoulin Island as well, hopefully you found this podcast helpful. We'd love it if you would comment below what are some of your favorite features about properties and share it with somebody you know who might be looking for advice in real estate.
We'll see you on the next one.